Das waren die aktuellen Nachrichten. Ich bedanke mich für Ihre Aufmerksamkeit und gebe wie immer zum Schluss ab zum Bretter.
Der Bretterbericht. Wie immer mit extra vielen schlechten Wortspielen und heute mit der Frage:
Wie ist das Bretter eigentlich so in Brasilien? Herzlich willkommen allerseits zur neuen Folge von Better Late Than Never. Heute mit einer Sonderfolge, von der es schon mal eine gab, nämlich einen neuen Bretterbericht. Das letzte Mal haben wir euch berichtet von der Berlin-Con und von der Spiel des Jahres-Verleihung. Und geplant ist, dass wir das jetzt als kleine Miniserie sozusagen immer dann zwischendurch einschieben, wenn wir wieder mal irgendwo waren, wo es auf der Welt was mit Brettspielen zu sehen gab. Und genau, wie immer ist hier mein lieber Freund Jacques bei mir und wir erzählen euch von unserer letzten kleinen Reise. Hallo Jacques, wie geht's? Komm schon, du hast versprochen.
Nein, die merkt das bestimmt.
Keiner merkt das. Mach jetzt. Also, nochmal. Und wie immer an meiner Seite mein lieber Freund Jacques. Hallo Jacques.
Ja, hallo, die Hörer oder Anhörer, wissen nicht, wie man sagt, von der Better Late Than Never.
Okay, Jacques, ich hoffe, du bist bereit für unsere Folge.
Ajo,
Ja.
natürlich.
Ajo, natürlich. Gut, weil Jacques und ich waren nämlich in, und jetzt haltet euch fest, Brasilien.
Strand, Sand im Würfelbecher, Schweißperlen auf der Stirn, Tropfen auf Playerboards. Sonnencreme auf Gesicht und Händen und Spielkarten und Kokosnüsse. Viele, viele Kokosnüsse.
Und dort haben wir nicht so viel gespielt, weil ich meine, man hat auch andere Sachen zu tun in Brasilien und so verrückt sind wir dann auch nicht. Allerdings waren wir da 3 Wochen und 3 Wochen ohne Brettspiele, so verrückt sind wir erst recht nicht. Und deswegen haben wir uns, als wir im schönen São Paulo waren, gedacht, 13 Millionen Leute oder wie viel, da werden noch ein paar Brettspieler dabei sein. Und in der Tat gibt es Brettspieler in Brasilien. Und zwar nicht zu knapp. Es ist zwar noch eine kleine Szene, aber sie wächst rasant. Und wir waren in einem Brettspielladen dort, einer Brettspielbar. Das war ein ganzes Kollektiv an geekigen Sachen. Also Brettspiele gab es dort. Es gab so einen Geek-Shop dabei, einen Burgerladen, Pizza. Das war so ein ganzes Haus voller Spaß. Und da waren wir 2 Abende. Und haben unter anderem mit einem, der dort arbeitet, nämlich dem lieben Lukas, ein bisschen erzählen können über diesen Platz und außerdem auch über das Brettspielen in Brasilien ganz allgemein. Und das dürft ihr euch jetzt gleich anhören, das Interview, das ich da mit ihm geführt habe. Und außerdem reden wir dann noch ein bisschen über ein Spiel, das wir dort neu gelernt haben, das er uns beigebracht hat, und zwar Imperial. Denn wo sonst, außer in Brasilien, mit einem brasilianischen Erklärer, hätte man dieses Spiel besser lernen können. Und wenn das Interview vorbei ist, werden wir dann auch nochmal kurz hier ein Fazit ziehen, wie uns das Spiel denn dann so gefallen hat. Denn das Interview war noch vor dem Spielen. Und wir wünschen euch schon mal viel Spaß auf der kleinen Reise nach Brasilien. Stimmt's?
Stimmt. Sí, claro.
Bis gleich. Hallo allerseits. Ich habe mich gerade hier spontan dazu entschlossen, eine kleine Sonderfolge aufzunehmen, denn ich bin in Brasilien im Urlaub und habe hier in São Paulo einen ganz wunderbaren Brettspiel-Rückzugsort gefunden. Denn auch in Brasilien gibt es eine Brettspielszene. Das wusste ich vorher nicht genau, aber ich war natürlich sehr interessiert daran, das herauszufinden. Und jetzt sitze ich hier mit Lukas im Encounter in São Paulo, einem Brettspielcafé, einer Brettspielbar. Jetzt schon den zweiten Abend in Folge und ich dachte, ich mache mal kurz ein bisschen ein Interview mit Lukas und frage ihn ein paar Sachen über die brasilianische Brettspielszene. So, hello Lukas.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine, I hope you too.
Yeah, thank you. Hello everyone.
Yeah, thank you for taking the time to tell us a little bit about Brazilian board gaming. Yesterday you told us a little bit already, me and my girlfriend, and I think that's very interesting for other people in Germany to hear as well. How is the board gaming scene in Brazil in general? Is it a lot of people? Has it a long tradition, or is it fairly new? And just give us a little picture about the board gaming scene.
Sure. We are living a very optimistic scenario of board gaming in Brazil. We are seeing daily new people playing board games and looking out for board games. We kind of have two different scenarios in Brazil. We had a scenario in the past, like we have older board games like Monopoly ones, Clue, many kind of 1.0 board games. So we have this nostalgic feeling from everyone that comes and sees Encounter, our board game cafe here in São Paulo. And we are living now a second phase, a second scenario where board games are rising up again. We are seeing many technologies where we are kind of living our days in front of many screens and like working and having fun watching Netflix, and like we're doing everything with a screen today. And this is a great trend for our society today, but we have a new counter trend. I would say something like that. We have a trend of people that want to build things. They want to look people in the eye. They want to solve different problems. They want to have fun without technology. And we don't have any problem with technology. We have people playing board games with like Board Game Arena and things like that. But it's a great thing to see kids, families, young groups. They are playing board games. In here at Encounter, we receive like 1,000 people every month to play board games. Like you are, we can recommend games and we can teach games since simple ones and we can move further to more complex games. And today we do not create many board games like you're playing Brazil Imperial a few moments ago. We have cartographers. We have many cool Brazilian board games, but right now we are importing some games. We have some companies that are buying the rights, and we are having some good games. We have some. I'm going to say wrong now. Okay, I'm sorry, everyone. So we have many Spiel de Jahres winners. They are coming. We already have Cascade and Living Forest in Brazil. So we have a great scenario for board games right now. And to make a comparison, we are like living the same moment that we have with TV shows like a decade ago, because we have many improvements in communication, and we have many access to many like TV shows. And like in a moment we had to wait a year or two to have access to those TV shows, and then like 2 years ago we can have on a week later some TV shows, and like we're having the access to board games right now. So not only we are enjoying playing board games, but we have an industry growing that we can have in a few months later, or maybe some Kickstarters that they have like the flag of Brazil in the logistics. That's they're expensive, we know, but we have we are in the route of board games. This is a great news. This is great for us.
Yeah. because you mentioned Kickstarter being expensive, and we also noticed that in general in Brazil, board gaming is a very expensive hobby. We also talked about it yesterday a little bit. Maybe you can explain a little bit why this is happening, that even board games that are made in Brazil are more expensive here than in other places in the world.
Yeah, we have a situation right now in Brazil that we have a past that everything has many taxes in Brazil. So we are like the greatest payers in the world for many things. We pay many taxes to our government. So this is a common thing that's not only for board games. So that's a huge problem. But also we have two things that are making board games more expensive in Brazil. The first one, that they're not meant to be familiar and cheap games. We have some of those companies that they manufacture games in Brazil. They decided deliberately, even before the COVID pandemic, to rise the prices of some games. They have a huge market share, so they decided that they could earn more selling those games. So they directed those board games to a more expensive group of products. So we have, for an example, Ticket to Ride. It was worth in 2019 215 reais, and now in 2022, the same game, same components, it is worth 400 reais. So
just as a comparison for the German listeners, 200 reais is like 40 euros. And 400 is 80 euros, you can say. So this is really expensive, and much more expensive now than before. So do you think this is because board gaming is still more like a niche hobby in Brazil and not a mass market thing? So the companies can sell board games more expensive because they know that their target group is board game fans. So they're just going to buy it anyway. And then because the usual family would not pay 400 reais for a board game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is a niche. And this niche is growing. It is easy to see that it is growing. So we can right now say that is a great segment of toys and games in Brazil. We already are the 12% of the share of every toys that are sold in Brazil. So that's a great success. Since 2014, board games are growing in Brazil, so we can check that those groups, they're getting together. Encounter was created in 2016, the late 2016, and now we are in our best moment ever. And after the pandemic, during the pandemic, many people discovered board games. It's not the best way that we intended people to know, but it's a good thing that people can run to board games. And we are niche, but we are growing. So many companies, they could look at this market strategy and say something like, okay, we can make those games cheaper. We can wide up all the marketing, the communication, and people could get to know more games and buy more expansions, etc.
Yeah. And it might also become more interesting for companies to manufacture board games in Brazil.
Yeah. We have a second problem that I believe that many countries, and not only Brazil, are facing right now, that in 2022 we have a logistics problem. We have many components that come from China. We have many things that need to be assembled in Brazil, not only manufactured in Brazil. So maybe a great thing for us would be a new industry of components, of plastic pieces, and etc. All those components, of course. And we also could have many some incentive from the governments. There are some laws that are being discussed for educational purposes of board gaming, so they could have less taxes. So it's a dream, but we can dream.
Okay, then another question coming back to how the board gaming tradition is in Brazil. Because in Germany, the cliche of board gaming is like on a Sunday afternoon, you sit with your family and play a board game. This is how not every person in Germany grows up, but a lot of people know this kind of gathering to family board gaming. And so how is that in Brazil? Is something like this a thing, or is it different here?
It is not yet a thing like it is in Germany. And I'm being a generalist as well, so sorry for anything that I say. But like we are a tropical country, so like we think that okay, we have some countries they have like 2-3 months of the year that they don't have, like we can go outside and do many activities. So board game is a normal and an obvious good choice for getting people around and staying at home and playing games. But we are a tropical country, and we are seeing many groups to have like a lunch, have a Sunday with their friends, with the family, playing board games. Here at the Encounter, we also rent board games. So because of the price, it is a normal thing to have. So those market differences, they create something like that. And we have many groups, they are recurrent. They come over and over to rent different board games and play with their families. And if they like a game a lot, they buy it. So it's not a so easy choice to buy like it would be in Germany. So we have this tradition growing. Of course, we have many Brazilians that they have like a huge bag. They put games on it and they go to their families, they go to their friends' houses, and they say, okay, let's play a game. Do you know like those games? But is a very good scenario right now because many people like they know what Dixit is, they know what Double is, they know like Mysterium, they know many board games. They are kind to understanding, and we are. Our job is to evangelize those people to, okay, do you know what this game is? Do you know, like, there's not so luck like Monopoly had. So we are being
just
a part.
Introducing the idea of modern board games, basically.
Yeah. So Brazilians, they know very well what the old board games are. So that's a good path for us. And we're now reaching more houses, more people, and more states in Brazil, not only big cities like São Paulo and Rio de Janeiro. So we are reaching more states with modern board games.
Okay. So our podcast is mainly focused on the winners of the Spiel des Jahres award. And my question is that something that in Brazil is also noticed as an award? And maybe you could answer like 2 questions there. Like the board gamers, I'm pretty sure they heard about the prize, like in the board game scene. And you could confirm this maybe and tell me how it is received here. And the other thing is, in Europe and also in America, I think the award also plays a big role when it comes to selling the board game. So is this a thing here as well? Is it on the board game boxes, or how is it received, the whole award?
We have many different awards there that companies put on the boxes. So like Seven Wonders, they have like
I know the dice tower, the
20. They have all over the box. So it is a selling proposition for companies.
Was, by the way, the first ever winner of the Kenner Spiel, I think.
Okay.
Played a big role.
It is common for companies that they say like this has an excellence seal of approval. This have a dice tower seal, but people they don't understand what those are. They understand like this is a good product. It has an award. Like people know the Oscars, but people don't know the many, like the BAFTA, the many other prizes and awards that a movie can get.
Sometimes on movies, on the posters, you see all these awards as well.
Yes,
how good it is.
And we talk a lot about Spiel des Jahres and for our customers and new customers. People ask, what is this red big pawn in the game? So what is that? And we say that it's like we say there's like the Oscars of board games.
I heard that before. Yes.
And people understand that. And there's a good thing as well to all the community, because people like to understand that, so this is a thing. So this is not some independent people creating board games. This is a huge market. And we are selling today like 150 different titles in our store. So people like understand that. And many people, when they're going to buy a game, they ask for recommendations. They ask for friends. They I played a game with my family. We don't know the game much, but it has like 2 cards in front of you. We have many different people. We have a captain. We have, we want to play Coop. Oh yeah, that's Coop. That's a game. We do that a lot. We're like magicians doing that. People ask recommendations for us. So what do you like to play? What is your favorite game? We have many YouTube channels in Portuguese, because the English is a barrier in Brazil. Not many people speak English. We have like 10% of the population. So people don't know what Dice Tower is, unfortunately. People, they don't get news from Germany yet, I believe. And also we try to tell people about those things. But some people, the heavy gamers, they talk about Spiel and they want, do you have Cascadia? Do you have the Forest? And we also have some hot spots, like people know what Everdell is. People love Root in Brazil. People love Root. They know it's not it is a very like, it has a kid's art, but they know it's not a kid's game. So they know what Root is. They kind of like our nach, and so we see many recommendations. Brazil is a common market for recommendations. We think a lot what other people think, about what we wear, about what we buy. So this happens as well with board gaming.
Okay, so my last question is, so that we also talk about a game in this episode. You just started explaining us a board game, and we're gonna go play it after this little interview. And it's, I think, the best place to learn this board game for me, because the board game is Brazil. And where else should I learn it but in Brazil, being taught by a original Brazilian? So maybe you could just talk a little bit about the game. Do you like it? What is it about? Do you agree with that there was some controversials, I think, about the theme? If they managed to be like, how do you say it? Like to capture the history correctly in the game. Yeah.
Okay. So Brazil Imperial is a game from late 2021. So it's a very recent game. I love the theme, the theme, and many people, they like check out the game. They take it out of the shelf and they want to check the game. So we are in 2022. So we have anniversary at 200 anniversary of our independence from Portugal. So we in Brazil is kind of it's a country that it is getting more connections with being like a Brazilian and loving the country and like loving our colors. So we are creating a nationality. So we are a young country, as is a way of saying this. We like check many board games that are about, okay, we're going to build an European city and market. We're going to work in a dock, taking fruits and taking resources. And those, I believe, there are many common European solving problems. So we're a giant country. It is not a common thing for us Brazilians, in a way of speaking, to solve small plantations, for one way of saying. So the problems that we check in Brazil, and like the problem that we face in Brazil Imperial, is like we have an empire and we must like cross over the board and have as many resources as we can and have as many buildings as we can. So it's not a tight map, because it is not a problem that us Brazilians that we had. So it is a fun comparison, and is not as accurate as a storybook because it is a board game. But we understand that we have many cards. You're going to see many cards about many historical figures of Brazil. You're going to know Barão de Mauá, a great entrepreneur from the 19th and 20th century. We're going to see Tupini kings, many Indians from Brazil, from the 15th century. We're going to check many important things about our history, and they are brought to a game. So that's a very magical thing for us. Of course, we love different board games like Scythe. They have this Steam theme. We love, like, we know that we have many, like Hallertau, we have Keyhold, we have many board games about different places. We have a Feast for Odin, like a Viking thing. We have a Viking theme. And okay, now we have a Brazilian board game. This is like fantastic. It's like we have a Disneyland in Brazil, you know. We have a different thing with our colors. And about the gameplay, it is a game that has some things near Scythe, because it is we also have a 4X classic game, but you can exchange resources, you can use your powers, you can have your military forces. So I believe it has more to do with having an empire and expanding it. So that's the main thing of the game. And we are tied with resources and like creating the buildings as us Brazilian have to face. So I believe that's the in short words is like what we have in this game. I enjoyed it. I appreciated the game. So I hope that you like as well.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to play it. Also because I think the theme is very refreshing, because as you said, you have 100 fantasy games with orcs, and you have 100 Viking games, and you have 100 medieval European games
with castles and dragons and things that we didn't have. We didn't have that in our history.
You have sugarcane as a resource. You know, that's just refreshing. It's not coal and wood. It's sugar cane and coffee. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. And so I would say thank you very much. Maybe you could mention where people can find you in the internet, this place, Geek Encounter. Do you have a Instagram or a Twitter or website or something?
Sure. Thank you for this time and all the appreciation for everyone that is listening to us. You can find us at encounter.bg at Instagram. Our website is encounter.com.br for Brazil. And if you visit São Paulo, a very gastronomical and touristic city, we have many tropical and many fun things to do. But if you miss the board games when you visit us, like you are doing right now,
like me and my girlfriend,
you can check in the counter and you can have a day here playing with us.
Yeah, I can really recommend it. It's an awesome library of games that you can choose from. You can have snacks and drinks and just play in a really nice atmosphere. So thank you very much. And
thank you.
Let's go play.
Ja, let's go play hieß es und das haben wir auch getan. Das Spiel hat so ungefähr 1,5 Stunden gedauert, schätze ich. Vielleicht 2 Stunden mit Erklärung. Und ich muss gestehen, der ein oder andere wird es vielleicht schon gemerkt haben, es war natürlich nicht Jacques mit mir in Brasilien, sondern meine liebe Daphne war mit mir. Und sie ist selbst auch Brasilianerin. Deswegen war das natürlich umso besser. Ich habe das also nicht nur in Brasilien von einem Brasilianer erklärt bekommen, sondern auch noch mit einer Brasilianerin gespielt. Und ja, liebe Daphne, erstmal hallo.
Hi.
Danke, dass du heute mit mir über Brasilien und das Spiel Brasilien sprichst. Wie hat's dir denn gefallen?
Also, der Spieler war ganz gut, also von Qualität, ich kann schon sagen, die haben das gut gemacht, auch von Bilder und die Erklärung und wie das aussieht, das ist sehr schön. Das ist auch schön, das war anderes, wie man sagt das, also Rohstoffe, genauso wie Zucker, Kennzucker, wie man sagt das? Zuckerrohr, das war schön, das zu haben.
Und Kaffee.
Ja, genau.
Und
Was war die
Baumwolle.
Jo. Das war auch schön. Man kann auch ein bisschen von der Geschichte von Brasilien auch noch lernen, wenn man nicht wissen. Also bestimmt viele wissen das überhaupt nicht. Das ist nicht interessant. Und
Doch.
Jo. Aber der Spiel selbst, das war für mich nicht so gut, ich kann sagen. Also das ist endlich so wie Scythe, die gleiche Mechanismus. Aber ja, das war leider nichts für mich, leider. Also wie war's für dich?
Ja, es war für mich so ähnlich. Wir haben beide jetzt nicht so die beste Mega-Erfahrung gemacht mit dem Spiel. Und wie du schon richtig sagst, es hat große Ähnlichkeiten zu Scythe, also indem man sich auch auf so einer Karte eben ausbreitet und dort Sachen bauen kann und Rohstoffe auch auf dem Feld produziert. Natürlich sind da auch ein paar andere Mechanismen drin, zum Beispiel, dass man diese Gebäudeplättchen hat, die man, wenn man sie gebaut hat, dann mit einer Aktion immer wenden kann und auf der Rückseite ist ein anderes Gebäude. Das heißt, man baut sozusagen immer 2 Gebäude, die abwechselnd produzieren. Das ist ganz interessant. Der der Aktionsauswählmechanismus ist ein bisschen anders als bei Scythe, aber ja, im Großen und Ganzen hat es angefühlt wie so eine Variante einfach von Scythe. Das war schon wirklich extrem ähnlich und ja, wir sind auch beide keine so großen Fans von Scythe. Ja, genau, da schreien jetzt wahrscheinlich Leute auf. Man hört so quietschende Reifen von den Leuten, die hier aus Schreck auf die Bremse treten beim Autofahren, die den Podcast da hören und wir verlieren wahrscheinlich die Hälfte unserer Hörerschaft, aber ja, Scythe ist sehr beliebt. Es ist auch kein schlechtes Spiel, aber es ist nicht so mein Style von Spiel. Es ist mir einfach ein bisschen zu anstrengend und wenig belohnend und es ist auch ein Sieg nach Siegpunkten. Wer die zuerst erreicht, bin ich auch kein so großer Fan von.
Genau, ein Sieg nach Siegpunkten. Mann, oh, Mann. Was für eine bahnbrechende Mechanik. Wettlauf. Es ist natürlich ein Wettlauf nach Siegpunkten, du hohle Birne. Mit diesem Wort hast du anscheinend wirklich Probleme.
Deswegen hat uns das vom Spiel an sich jetzt nicht so überzeugt. Cool ist natürlich die ganze Gestaltung von dem Spiel, die Story dahinter, die Figuren, die man spielen kann, sind auch alles echte Figuren, über die man auch viel nachlesen kann in dem Heftchen, das dabei liegt. Also den historischen Teil und den Hintergrundinfoteil haben sie wirklich gut hingekriegt. Und ich glaube, Leuten, denen Scythe gefällt das auch. Und es bringt halt ein bisschen Abänderungen rein in den Mechaniken. Also es ist nicht 1:1 eine Kopie, das will ich jetzt auch nochmal klarstellen. Das ist schon ein eigenständiges Spiel. Aber es ist halt so vom Grundgerüst sozusagen schon ein Cousin zumindest von Scythe. Und das heißt, wem Scythe gefällt, der sollte sich das auf jeden Fall angucken, wenn man Lust hat, das sozusagen mal in einem anderen Setting mit bisschen frischen Abwechslungen nochmal zu spielen. Das kann eigentlich so unser Fazit gewesen sein. Was uns viel besser gefallen hat, und das müssen wir an der Stelle eigentlich nochmal betonen, ist dieser Encounter, also dieses Spieleparadies in Brasilien, in São Paulo. Wer dort hinfährt und Lust auf Brettspiele hat, muss auf jeden Fall bei den Leuten vorbeischauen. Stimmt's?
Ja, das ist ein sehr gemütliches Platz und ganz nett die Leute, die erklären gerne, was die wissen, ne, von dem Spiel. Und ja, wir waren direkt 2 Tage nach dem anderen dort. Und wenn wir mehr Zeit hätten, wir waren bestimmt dort die ganze Woche, ja. Das leider hatte ich die Zeit.
Ja, jeder erzählt einem sowieso immer, man soll nachts in São Paulo nicht alleine rausgehen oder auch nicht zu zweit rausgehen, einfach nicht draußen sein, ab einer gewissen Uhrzeit, und dann geht man besser dorthin Brett spielen.
Ja.
Genau. Also wir werden dann auch öfter hinfahren, ne, weil du kommst ja von da, und dann werden wir dort auch wieder vorbeischauen. Okay, das war dieser Bretterbericht. Wir werden das noch öfter tun. Zum Beispiel bin ich demnächst in Salzburg auf einer Spieleveranstaltung auf jeden Fall, von der ich euch berichten werde, und mal schauen, was sich noch so über das Jahr hinweg ergibt. Essen weiß ich noch nicht genau, ob ich es schaffe, aber da gibt es sowieso 800 Folgen von 400 verschiedenen Podcasts dazu gefühlt. Das heißt, da braucht ihr ja von uns nicht noch Zusatzinfos. Und deswegen sagen wir jetzt einfach wie immer, vielen Dank fürs Zuhören und gut Brett.
Gut Brett.
Wie sagt man denn gut Brett auf Portugiesisch?
Bom jogo.
No jogo. Was ist Brett? Board.
Tabuleiro. Bom tabuleiro.
Bom tabuleiro? No.
I don't know, that sounds weird.
Dann bleiben wir bei gut Brett.
Ayo. Gut Brett.